Lamar Jackson versus our 97 speed quarterback James Cody. That is the game we have in store for us today. Now, James Cody didn't have the greatest debut last episode. Threw a couple interceptions, had a couple fumbles. Wasn't all necessarily his fault. He missed a couple passes here and there, but they were about a yard or two away, so it's not major misses, just some things to tweak. And we're going to try to have to continue doing that against a pretty good-looking team led by a very similar, or I guess our guy would be a similar style quarterback, but Lamar Jackson. So in the battle of speed, let's see which quarterback ends up on top. And it will be Jackson up first as Dicker the kicker gets us underway with another boot through the back of the end zone. Now Lamar Jackson has proven he can run, he can throw, and he started this season, better than what James Cody was able to do. But it'll be a test to see which of these can remain Madden healthy. And I say that because a lot of the time, scrambling quarterbacks, they're tempting to just tank. So we'll see if that starts to affect any of them. And if it does affect anyone, I sure hope it's Jackson. As they'll start with a run to the outside, and we'll maybe squeeze the first. Yeah, we'll squeeze out the first. We saw some mixed play, to definitely say the least, for our defensive rushing game. Now, can we start to improve on that as we start to get to know each other a little bit better? Let this defense mesh. That seems to be what happens, or what has happened in both of the last two seasons. Where we've started, obviously made some changes in the offseason, and it takes a little while for the defense to really start to mesh together. Read option, they go back to Pierman, that time not going anywhere. Johnson, the free safety, young guy, only like 71 overall. But I feel like he's definitely starting to kind of make that jump, right? He's been playing a lot better the last, really almost full season. Unfortunately, don't get the stop there on the third down conversion. But I am really liking Johnson at free safety. Now, J.R. Reed was really good in the half of the season that he started in year one. But last year, he really didn't play all too impactfully, I feel like. So that is another spot I am looking to maybe address in the draft. See if we could find someone at strong safety who could really make a big impact, because that is the spot he needs to be covering against tight ends. And it's been pretty synonymous with this series, as well as most of mine, that our defenses really struggle when it goes to actually stopping tight ends. Or in this case, stopping anything. As the Baltimore Ravens have definitely been able to just slowly move the ball downfield. They're not doing anything crazy either, just some straight runs or some short passes. Cashman in for the first sack of this game. He was our second leading sack artist last year. And we all know who the number one guy was, Shaka Toney, setting the sack record at 28. We'll see if he can get anywhere close to that this season as he lays the hit in on Lamar as Max Williams, their number 2 tight end, converts the 3rd and long. Just continuing to be a problem here is the third down getting the stop, as well as just covering the tight ends. Don't know why it's so difficult here for us as they go with a stretch to the outside, not getting by Davis Gaither. Now, I don't want to jinx myself, but so far haven't seen a Lamar Jackson run yet. They ran one read option, but they ended up handing it off as they go out to Andrews, who cuts inside and will make it a very manageable 3rd down. And we're even going to bring down the safeties here on 3rd and 2. Coming out in the 52 defense, they do go with the read option, and we cover it very well. Loss of 2 should force the field goal. And indeed, that's who they send out, Justin Tucker from the 31. This should be a gimme. But either way, at least we did force it. And if we can get a good drive on offense, have a chance to take a lead. But now it's James Cody's turn. Can he lead us to victory? He had some really good flashes last week as Borghi breaking off the big run here. He had one of those last week for sure. But you could definitely tell the team is still tweaking with things, trying to find the right balance between straight runs, RPOs, read options, as well as some passes as Osborne breaks open down the sideline and is out of bounds at the 36. He was also pretty good for us in his debut game last episode. Didn't see much from really any of the other receivers. And I don't even think we found Campbell, the second-year tight end, once last week. I definitely feel like there's a lot of talent that we have on this roster that we just have to find the right balance to really be able to utilize it properly. As we're trying to roll out here, let's dump this one off for Borghi, and somehow Borghi can't catch that. I mean, he's not necessarily a receiving back, but still, you would have imagined would have caught that. I guess we should have just ran it with Cody. Instead, 3rd and 2, we hand it off Borghi. He converts this time. Now we maybe will have time for one more play here before the end of the quarter. We'll snap it with 1 second left on the clock. Gonna have to try to step up here. Gonna go for Osborne once again with a short catch, only 3. But like I mentioned, end of the quarter, so we're getting close. Defense definitely needs to clean things up moving forward because they let the Ravens just essentially run all over us, and that's really not much of an exaggeration, as a nice pass there from Cody will find Justin Ross over the top of the linebackers. And on 1st and 10, we'll stay spread. Trips to the right, 1 to the left is Brown, and how about we try to set up a little bit of some read option. We have some linemen out in front, and James Cody has an easy path into the end zone. It's 2 back-to-back weeks with a rushing touchdown. Well, the offense did their job and looked pretty solid while doing it. Now let's see if the defense can tighten things up here and put it together a much better second performance as a complete whiff. Luckily, a flag comes down. Jackson shakes a tackle. Reed in pursuit. Andrews trying to get that block, and we will get the hit in on Jackson down at the 9. Now, is that flag going to save us? And indeed it will on Nate Davis. Backs them all the way up to the opposite 16. They pretty much flipping the field as there's a little bit of a glitch. Davis Gaither, though, on the outside will get another tackle for loss. Now, we'll say that's one thing we haven't had to see talking about the previous Jackson run. We have not seen Cody really put any of his moves out on the field yet. He's pretty much, whenever he's ran, just had open field or has slid down. Nice run there. We'll set up an easier 3rd down. We'll see if our defense can actually get the stop this time. On 3rd and 5, they come out with a tight shotgun set, hard count, no one jumps. Has a couple crossing routes in the middle. No one really breaking up. They go swing out and a knockout there from Mullen Jr. We'll see. He's had a pretty good start to his season. Couple splash plays, including a pick 6 last week. This one gets the knockdown and, well, gives our offense the ball back. Let's check this one down for Borghi. How space to the outside. We'll get the 1st down and not a whole lot extra. Now, I think the problem that we might end up having is that with Brown and Ross on the outside, we really have 2 physical guys out there and not really a deep threat. And that might be something that could potentially come back to hurt us because we don't have the speed on the outside. So we'll see. We'll stick with them for now because we know that they are talented guys, and we've seen Ross be able to play pretty well for us. So I'd like to give him a shot. But we have a bunch of space here. James Cody trying to get the edge there, but a nice tackle there from Humphrey, but a solid rush, setting us up at the 34. And that also came out of my mouth very weird. 34. 34. That's a much better way of saying it. Borghi down the middle. Nice run, showing off a little bit of some power. Gain of 7. Now, going back to the conversation about the 2 outside receivers, Brown does have more speed. I want to say he's an 88, while Ross is, I think, 85. So we'll see who ends up getting the edge on the deep routes. We know Ross last year, he was mostly better on the short to intermediate. So maybe we just need to try to remember what each guy is actually doing best. As Hales checks in for the jet sweep and gets swallowed up. So it will be the kicking unit heading out. Should be an easy chip shot. At least you would imagine so, but we've seen some interesting kicking last episode. This one, nothing too dramatic. Well, for the most part, I would say it's been a solid start to the game. Some things that definitely could improve on, but we've done a pretty good job in limiting Lamar Jackson's rushing ability. So that is, oh well, except for the one rush that he'd had like 70 yards, but then got called back. But prior to that, not too bad. Granted, they haven't tried to go with too many read options or direct rushes. That one's lofted up and will hit the turf. It's interesting play design or play call or decision there from Lamar Jackson. Try to find Bateman, but Mullen does a good job of swatting away yet another one. Now a rollout, then throwaway as a flag comes in late. And Shaka Toney, a little too eager to get a hit in on Jackson, will end up giving him a free first down with a read option. Gaithers will whiff, but will force Jackson back towards the middle where he had help. And I think we'll try to focus on making sure we have guys on the outside to help out when they go with these read options. Really good tackle there from Cashman, will actually be a loss of 1. So I think the game plan will be to keep guys on the edge. If we're going to bring any blitzes, it'll be on the outside rather than the middle. Might just give us the best possible, and luckily we get very lucky there. That should have been a first down, but it looks like instead it'll end up being a punt. At 4th and 2 at about midfield, we'll see if they actually do punt, and indeed they do, headed out of bounds. So with back-to-back weeks with a 2-minute or less drive, we'll see what James Cody can do. We're going to make a slight audible here. Borgie will have a late release. Osborne maybe with a cut there, but that pass was definitely off the mark. So instead, let's try to go something a little bit shorter. A potential swing pass, which we will go out to, have some blocks. We don't get the one on the outside I was hoping for, but we'll set up a manageable 3rd down. Just need 3 yards. We're going to bring Osborne in motion here. Going to fake the jet sweep to him. Hit back to the opposite side with Borgie with some space down the middle. Close to midfield. They were exactly at midfield. We'll call our first timeout. Now, with that working pretty well last time, let's try to do something else off of it. Fake the jet sweep. See if we could get Ross down that number line. Now, perhaps what we need instead is a guy to kind of leak out to the opposite side as we have everyone else flood one side. Maybe that'll give them open, or they'll cover everything pretty well. Try to dump this one off late, and Campbell not going to bring it in. In fact, it almost is intercepted off of his body 13 times. So 3rd and 10, still at about midfield. Have not been able to move much at all the last couple plays. And by much at all, I mean definitely not at all, as that path thrown a little bit behind Osborne. I feel like it kind of works out in our favor. We'll call our second timeout. And on 1st and 10, I'm going to try something here. Jesus Baca comes out on the left-hand side, as he typically has, or he does have more speed than what we have really anywhere else. With a guy breaking open, that's going to be Osborne yet again. Definitely being our primary receiver in the first part of this season for sure. Right, we're only in week 2, but he's been the #1 guy. But I want to try to see if we can get Jesus Baca going a little bit. He has some good release, has some speed. We'll see if maybe that'll help us out with some of the deep routes, as a flag is down, so I don't want to force anything here. Let's just run out of bounds with Cody. And it does end up being the holding call, so it's a good thing we didn't try to force anything. Let's try to see, though, here if we could get anything good. No. Late hit, though, as we throw the ball away. Unfortunately, Cody doesn't get the call, and it will still be 2nd and goal rather than getting the late hit penalty. We're going to motion over Hales here, try to set up another screen. See if that'll work out for us a little bit more than the previous drive. Have some lead blockers. Not going to get by Humphrey, who at least slows us down. Joyner brings us down. And with about 15 seconds, see if anyone can break them. We do have a guy sitting wide open. That's going to be Alton Campbell down to the 4. Call our last timeout. Now we'll go for one more play here. We cannot take the sack. We cannot get tackled inbounds. Want to at least have the field goal attempt, and there we go. Bo Melton with the zig route to the outside, wide open. We will finally grab that touchdown before half. And as we head on in to half, James Cody has not had too bad of a game. 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown. His legs helping us out when we needed to. 126 passing yards, 80 rushing yards, well more than what the Ravens have. Now, do we have any updates on our league? Not in this first game. Going to be the Bears taking on the Jaguars. Close matchup though, 12-10. Interesting scoreline. Bears 1-0 on the season. Jaguars looking for their first win. Now in the next one will be an update with the Texans taking on the Lions. Lions up 24-0 going into halftime. Texans 0-1. Lions 1-0. Texans are the team that we made the trade for to get up to that second pick to pick up James Cody. Now the Steelers, who we beat in week 1, taking on the Browns. Both teams looking for their first win. That one close, 14-7, under a minute going into half. Now, as we seem to be the first team who, actually, as I say that, look down at the bottom, and Falcons win 28-0 against the Saints. I was going to say, it seems like we might be the first team going into the second half, but no, well, we're not. Now, I will say, right tackle's doing a lot better in this game, considering we're not playing against Watt, as we do have some space down the middle. A really nice tackle there from Michael Pierce. So it does seem that just our right tackle struggles against premier talent, but against the average Joe, not too shabby. So we do go with the swing pass out again, and I just wish the first block would actually happen. Instead, typically it ends up not, and we don't get as many yards as we probably should have, but at least it's not an interception, so that's always good. Gonna have to roll out here. Cody trying to escape Judon, and he will not. Actually, not Judon, that's Owe, my bad. Now, we did a pretty good job of limiting Lamar Jackson in the first half. He'd had one really good run that ended up being called back due to a holding, and he's not getting anywhere on play 1 here. Nice stuff at the line. Again, trying to make sure we always have someone on the outside just to contain Lamar Jackson. We do have a pretty good amount of speed at the linebacker spot, as down the middle, Tristan Hill with the sack. He was one of 4 new additions to the defensive line this offseason, already having a pretty decent impact as they go with a pass to the outside, and we'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, but not much more. So after another nice stop from our defense, James Cody once again back out on the field as we go empty. Gonna send Osborne in motion. He'll take the jet sweep this time, has some good lead blockers. Will break to the outside, get close to the first, but is brought down shy. And my plan for this second half, because Cody has definitely taken a lot of hits in his early time here, as Borghi doesn't get the first down, try to break to the outside, should have stuck to the middle. Owe once again with a big play. But as I was trying to say, trying to limit the amount of running that we're actually doing here in this second half, because Cody is feeling the wear and tear, for a lack of better word. But 4th and 1. Bodden, it's your turn. Right down the middle, first down gained, and not a whole lot more. So with us trying to pull back a little bit on Cody, I feel like we're going to do a lot more of some RPOs here in the second half. Get the running backs more involved, maybe a quick pass here or there. Keep the hits from getting to Cody. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. I have a couple options on this RPO, and I could actually not make any hot routes, so never mind there. Hand this one off again. Borghi has space to the outside. Will get the first down inside the 40. He's had 9 rushes, 70-plus yards in this one, so not too bad. Borghi really wasn't involved much last week, so trying to get him more involved as we're going to find Alton Campbell here with the first down to the 24. Again, as I mentioned, I don't remember if it was earlier this episode or if it was last episode. We just have a lot of talent spread out amongst our offense, and we need to find the best way to utilize all of it. You know, we've seen some really good play from Borghi. We have Alton Campbell, who has shown really good signs as a rookie. He had 9 touchdowns, so we know he could be good for us. We have some guys on the outside with some good skill sets. It all just comes down to finding the right style of play calling to best utilize all of it. Go with another run here, and Owe gets shucked off, but a flag is down. Probably going to be backing us up. And indeed it is on Billy Price, who was a starter for us at center last year, now has moved out to guard with the addition of, was it Andre James? Is that what the name is? Gonna try to force this to a back corner. Bo Melton gets the grab, but he lands out of bounds. Not a bad throw there from James Cody, though. Only where Melton could have gotten it. But that flag does cost us, and it'll end up being a field goal rather than a possible touchdown, but it will widen our lead 20-3. Now, potentially might see a little bit more of some Lamar Jackson here late on in this game as they are coming out empty. They end up going with the receiver screen and lose a yard. And that does send us on into the 4th quarter, where we have a 17-point advantage. Granted, anything can happen. So need to make sure we continue to play well and finish this game, which we've done pretty well on defense, obviously only allowing 3 points up to this point. but it hasn't always been through clean play, just getting the right stop at the right time or a lucky flag going our way. As we send the blitz here, and there's a fumble. Gonna be picked up by Davis Gaither, no one in front of him, and we can easily walk into the end zone. So that 17-point lead, now make that 24. So defense doing their job, I would say then. We gave them the challenge, and they came up with a big play last drive. They try to set up the screen pass this time, and there comes Cashman screaming in, get the stop after 3. Now a bunch to the right-hand side, one lone receiver to the left. They have Pierman next to Jackson in the backfield. Will be a pass, and we'll go underneath. Nice spin move there from Tylan Wallace. We'll get him up to the 40. And they've definitely gotten some plays underneath. They haven't really gotten that play over the top, as they do pick up every single blitzer. Wow. Bateman finally gets a play here to the other 40. And I feel like the stat that really shows that they've gotten a lot of pass plays, they've completed a lot of pass plays, is the fact that Lamar Jackson only has 3 incomplete passes up to this point, yet they only have managed 3 points. However, they are moving the ball pretty well right now. And again, another trips look to the right-hand side, one receiver to the left. Picked up the pass rush pretty well as they dip and dive underneath another one of our guys. Shakatoni will get back and get this tackle on Jackson, who potentially for the first time today, I can't quite remember fully, but I think for the first time today, inside the 25. Be another pass. Jackson will go underneath. Andrews gets his legs taken out. And now 2 receivers set to the right-hand side, 1 to the left. They'll go to that one on the left who ends up kind of getting sandwiched between 2 defenders, but holds on to the ball. And it's always funny in Madden, or even in real life, you know, you watch a game, and an offense will do nothing for most of, like, 80% of the game. And then they'll just go on one drive similar to this, where you just can't stop them. Just everything that they call works. And you wonder, why weren't they doing that the whole time? We'll see. Jackson, I almost said Jacksonville. They go with the jet sweep, and they won't get much. Actually, will be a loss of 1. Dano with the final tackle. And on 3rd and 4, a pistol set, 2 receivers either side. We did end up having to call a timeout to give our defense a little bit of a breather, but apparently we didn't need to because they were about to head to the bench after a touchdown by Forbes. Or apparently not to the bench quite yet, as apparently the Ravens want to go for 2 here. Not quite sure why, but they're going to. A couple guys just standing in the middle. Jackson looking to scramble. Cashman coming in. Will get the final stop. 2-point conversion, no good. But they are not done giving up. Out for the onside kick. Right to Ross. It bounces off his foot, but Campbell will recover. They were so close, yet so far from trying to get back into this one late. 27-9 after the touchdown. Hand this one off to Hales, who almost could have broken away if he was able to stay on his feet. Now 2nd and 7 as we let this clock run. Taking down inside, 5 seconds left on the play clock, and then we're going to roll out here. Maybe try to see if we could get Osborne. No, that actually almost ended up possibly getting picked. And on 3rd and 7, empty set, trips to the left, 2 to the right. We're going to bring Bo Melton in motion. He's going to take the jet sweep for us. Try to see if he can find an edge. No, great play there from Joyner. We'll have to kick another field goal, but that'll be after the 2-minute warning. This is a long one, 58 yards for Dicker the kicker. He missed one last week, not of this length, but he nails it this time. Now, with not much time left in this one, we'll see if the Ravens can find anything, and that's a heck of a pass all the way close to midfield. Tylan Wallace definitely making the best of late game action. Jackson really hasn't been able to help lead his team for the majority of this game as another flag comes in. This time I think it's going to be another late hit on Shakatoni. Feel like that is 2 or 3 already this season, so maybe he just needs to pull it back a little bit. He already has the record for most sacks in a season. As they go to the outside, not going to be enough for the first down. Bateman a yard shy, but a nice toe tap there will make things a little interesting. Then a toss up the next play, and it'll hit the turf. Now on 3rd and 1, can we get that final stop? Will be another pass across the middle, slapped down by, I think that was Johnson, the free safety. But the Ravens want some more points, so going for it here on 4th and 1. They sit in shotgun, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Have a couple guys sitting underneath, and they'll go to that back pylon. Knocked away, not really even the back pylon, but just back of the end zone. Ends up turning into triple coverage, and we will force the turnover on downs. I imagine Baltimore will still call their timeouts, but essentially we just have to run a few times here and end this game. Hales tries to bounce to the outside, breaks 1 tackle. We'll get a handful there. And they're surprisingly not calling their timeouts, letting the clock run. As we snap that ball with just enough time left, get a nice block there from Brown. We break to the outside. Osborne will juke in to stay in bounds, and that will do it for us in Baltimore. A 30-9 victory. James Cody with 2 touchdowns, 1 passing, 1 receiving. Actually, there might be more than 1 passing, but I know he at least had the 2 touchdowns on the day. 167 passing yards, 120 rushing yards. Defense got a takeaway. All in all, it was a really good performance, keeping them under 55, I think it was, rushing yards. Against Lamar Jackson, that is really good. And with that win, we are keeping up with the Cowboys as we head on into week 3. Both of us and the Cowboys are 2-0, so tied for the top here of the NFC East. Now, next episode will be again a struggle. Thinking back to week 1 when it was nearly impossible for us to deal with TJ Watt. Now we'll have Myles Garrett. Technically listed as a right end. We'll see where he ends up playing. They kind of move around a little bit. I imagine he's actually probably listed as a rush left end. So if he's lined up again on our right side, that might be difficult for us. We'll see if we're able to kind of control him and allow our offense to still move freely. We did see a better game from James Cody. It was pretty solid for us. I think he'll be good for us moving forward. Just that speed, the ability to run away from pass rush coming in can definitely be helpful, as well as just having a pretty good arm, pretty decent accuracies, has room to grow. But definite good signs starting the season 2-0. Make sure you guys stick around so you don't miss out the rest of the season and the rest of the career of the likes of James Cody, Shaka Tony, some of our best guys. So make sure you either scroll down and hit that subscription button or just tap my bear icon in the bottom right. But definitely make sure you hit that bell icon so you're notified of when all my videos go live. This series posted every Monday and Thursday with a state-only challenge every Wednesday and Saturday, and then FIFA on Tuesday and Friday with the My Player Career. So 6 videos every single week, a lot more coming. Hope you all are enjoying, and until next time, see you guys later. Bye.